Hey guys, happy Friday night. Hope everyone is doing well. All right. Hi. Hello. Oh, I just saw you post on my Facebook timeline. I have not gotten to go see it. So I am looking focused. I'm reading focused. I'm looking forward to that. So thank you. I was featured as a blogger on Raising Da Vinci, so I'm excited to go read that tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's been a slow week here. I've had some sick kids, so it's nice to be on here and just chatting a bit about a topic I've seen flying around the Periscope world. So first, for an introduction, those of you who don't know me, oh, good. I can't wait to see it. Thank you. All right. I'm Mary. I have a blog at Not Before 7, which is also at facebook.com/notbefore7. I have 4 kids. They are 13, 11, 9, and 6. Hello, welcome Queen Bee, a newbie to the scope. And I do homeschool them. And one of the things I have seen, I was chocolate hearts on every scope I was on today, Shelly. It's fun to be the chocolate ones. It's like a thing. And one of the questions floating around on the Brave Scopes, which is a Facebook group I am part of, those of us who use the Brave Writer curriculum and are using Periscope. And that is a question that someone, in fact, Kim, Purple Jack Mama, I think you may have posted it, asking how we deal with gamers in our household. What kind of limits do we have and how do we deal with the technology and the gaming? So I am here first to say that I changed it to not just gaming, but technology in general. Yeah, Kirsten, I watched yours. So interesting that you just talked to your son again. I kind of went with the whole technology in general aspect, including social media, because I don't particularly have a gamer. My boys are only 7 and 9, and I see a lot of potential there for them. They really do enjoy games when they get time in them. Minecraft is the only gaming that it seems to be in this house. That's so funny, Kirsten. So what I was going to say, if this is a topic that you're interested in, I'm not sure I have a whole lot of new stuff to add to the conversation, but I do want to tell you that these 3 scopers have already scoped on this topic. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. That is Christina at Thankfully Home and Kirsten Merriman, who's in this broadcast. So Kirsten, if you want to throw up some emojis, people could follow you and then they could watch your scope. And Dashell, it was over 24 hours ago because it was missing, but it is ATLSJK, this is testing my backwards reading, JKDM. They have already scoped on what gaming looks like in their households. So I thought I would just pop in and add a little bit of what it's looked like here. Oh, Nadine, Tea with Nadine. Isn't it Tea with Nadine? I didn't see that one. I'm so glad you said that. Kim, do you know her thing? Is it Tea with Nadine? I think it is. So I wrote that down. Oh, good. There she is. Tea with Nadine D. Oh, good. I'll go check that one out too. So we have Tea. Oh gosh, that's horribly written. Tea with Nadine. But she's in here too, and she commented, so you can find her. So Tea with Nadine D. All right. So here's how it is worked. Oh, real quick before I do this. These new earrings, I need to give a shout out to my favorite organization. I have talked in the past about Fair Trade Friday. And Fair Trade Friday, I receive an earring of the month from them, and these came in the mail today. And so even though I'm in my sweatpants and my little Old Navy casual shirt, I popped them on because, oh my gosh, they're like gray and they're like porcelain or stone of some sort. They would go with anything. So I love Fair Trade Friday, earring of the month, and this is from a group called Back to Africa. They have a fair wage policy that empowers the artisans to live with dignity and provide for their needs of their family. Proceeds from their sale support orphan care through Heart of the Bride ministry. I love earring bling, which is why I love the Earring of the Month Club from Fair Trade Friday. So definitely check it out. It ends up being like $11 a month, and you're supporting women around the world and empowering them. And so they're earrings you can feel really good about wearing too. Okay, that was a little quick plug. So gaming in my homeschool, or technology, social media, tablets, all of that screen time, as we read so many articles about. Here's how this worked. About 2 years ago, I was tired of the constant mental battle of my kids are spending too much time on screens, or I should be limiting them, or whatever. And it was constant. And I would freak out and I would be like, you guys have to get off of this. Or they would be getting upset at me. Sorry, what is that doing? Crazy. They would be getting mad or upset at me. Right, I was constantly a wreck, like, oh, should they be spending this much time? They were obsessed with Minecraft for a while at that time. My 13-year-old was then 11, and she was begging for Instagram, and she wanted her own iPod, and all this stuff was going on. So I sat all the kids down, and we just had a little chat. And I said, okay, I need you all to understand that I am part of the first generation of parents who has had to deal with this technology. When other people were raising kids, when my parents were raising kids a generation ago, there were no tablets, there was no internet actively being used the way it is today, there was no social media, and I read articles all the time because I want to do what's best for you. I want to be an educated parent. So I'm reading articles all the time, and they're telling me the dangers of this screen time. They're telling me bad impacts on your brain and what screen time is doing to kids. And the American Academy of Pediatrics has recommendations, and it's scary. But I'm also reading things telling me how great Minecraft is for problem solving and for coding, and that this is your future, and I need to be aware of it and letting you participate in it. And it's confusing. And so I was just honest with them. I told them how I was feeling. And I said, you know what? Here's the deal. Thank you, Queen Bee. I said, so if you can respect where I'm coming from, then I'm going to do my best to respect where you're coming from with this desire to play these games and to embrace social media. So part of that is going to be, and I just laid it out there, that I'm willing to start diving in if you all will recognize that I might force us all to take a step back. And I don't want to hear a whole lot about it. We'll keep open conversation about it, but if we go with this unlimited screen time, or we let you dive into social media, and then we change our minds, you need to be okay with that, because I don't want to give into the fear and not let you do anything, but I want you to understand that I'm going in with some trepidation, and that I want the freedom to be able to pull back a little and reevaluate. So we just all kind of talked about that, and then we moved from there. And it's actually been a great thing. Yeah, there's nothing like open communication with the kids. And my youngest at the time was 4, so it wasn't that I had all older children. When you have kids under 5, things are a little different in the house. But with the 11-year-old who was really pushing for Instagram. So we decided to go ahead and let her get Instagram and to wade into those waters. She also got Pinterest. And now my 13-year-old and 11-year-old have Instagram and Pinterest. And I agree that making them part of the decision is important. And this is just what works for our house. So Shelly, if 13, I have a friend, Vicky, who's not on here right now, Tacky Family. At 13, it was so funny. Her daughter's 13th birthday, and I got friend requests from her on Facebook and on Twitter and on all these things. So it was like this 13-year-old thing turned the key in her house, and she got access to stuff. So there's something beautiful in getting things when they get older too. So I'm all for that. This is just what's worked here. And the Instagram has actually gone really well. My 13-year-old, I think, has like 4 Instagram accounts now. Her personal one with her name is private, and she has to accept followers. Her gymnastics one is public, and I have to say she has 2,200 followers. And it is her gaming obsession. That is her screen obsession. It is all gymnastics all the time. So she is followed by 2,200 random gymnasts. And I do occasionally look through it and make sure no one on there looks really creepy, as does she. And she follows a ton of gymnasts. And it's just been where she has found her people. And she watches gymnastics videos constantly. So that's how it's gone well. It's been fine. Okay, so I ended time limits in the house as part of that conversation. I stopped saying you can only have an hour of screen time a day and decided to see where it went. We do have hour limits, meaning between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., our technical school hours, screen time is limited, and they kind of know that. That doesn't mean they don't ever get on Minecraft. If we need a school break and we all discuss it and decide, you know what, a half-hour Minecraft would be great. But it's not free use kind of thing. But there's not really time limits. There are days my kids have played screens for over 3 hours. And there are days that they haven't gotten on at all. So we just kind of took the limits away. And yeah, okay, so the school limit. That's kind of what we did, is just I know, Alicia, I'm on here again. Is we just kind of discussed hours that it's appropriate. They also know that Monday through Friday, when they wake up in the morning, they don't get to get on Minecraft. But on Saturday and Sunday, they love it. Like Friday night when my son goes to bed, he's like, it's Saturday tomorrow, Mom. It's Saturday. That means I get to play Minecraft when I wake up. And he does. He comes downstairs at about 7:30 a.m. and he plays Minecraft until we decide to roll into breakfast, usually around 9:30 or 10. So there's a little freedom there. I have to remind myself about balance, and those times when I feel that feeling coming over me about this is all you ever do, I have to step back and say, is that really true? Or are we just in a 2 or 3 day period where this is all you ever did? Because I can really overreact. So I have stepped back and said, okay, stop a second. We go camping. My kids were just hiking last weekend. We were at the Science Museum. Like, this is not all they ever did. I'm just feeling that way. And so I have to remind myself that there is balance in their lives. And I provide that balance. I help plan activities and events. And it does take me doing that, because left to their own devices, they probably would spend a lot more time on Minecraft. But so when I hit the freak out point where I feel like all we've done is screens, I have calmed myself down and I have said to them, okay, guys, I'm starting to feel a little anxious about the screen time. So I think what would help is if we all sat down and we played a board or card game or whatever, do a puzzle, whatever you like. It would just really help if we all did that together. And then I would feel a little better. And so we do. And we'll just play a game and I have to join in with them. And we all have a good time and I can feel better about the balance in their lives. Maybe it's, hey, you know what, guys, let's bike ride up for some gelato. And let's just get some fresh air. And they never turn that down. So I just try to make sure I'm keeping the scales feeling even. And that way, when it really tips to heavy Minecraft time, I can remember that just a few days ago, it was really heavy biking time or really heavy museum visiting time, and kind of let it go a little better. What else have I written down here to say? Oh, join them. I have played Minecraft. I have gotten on, and in fact, for a little while, I got a little obsessed with Minecraft. I loved digging and mining, and I would just get on there and dig and dig and dig, and I would just dig as deep as I could go and see if I could find anything. And the kids would crack up because I'd be stuck in this hole, and I'm like, I don't know how to get out. Like, what do I do? And they'd be like, didn't you make steps? No, I didn't make steps. I just dug a hole. And when my son, I let them all take a class at Minecraft Homeschool, which I don't know if that still exists. But, yeah, the diggitest dog. That was me. Oh, we played Smash Brothers last night. I said there was going to be a Smash Brothers Smackdown. I am always the boxer dude, Little Mac. I'm always Little Mac. So joining them in their screen time is a lot of fun. Learn to play their games. Let them show you what they're doing. Sometimes I just sit with my daughter on her Instagram and I say, so what's going on Instagram? And I watch all these random girls do flips. So that was another thing, is it felt less scary and less intimidating when I was part of it. And when I was in Minecraft with them, creating and playing, and then I kind of phased out of that. But man, I was the bomb at Redstone for a while, because I took the Redstone class with my 8-year-old, and I learned how to build trapdoors and all of that stuff. So that was another piece of advice, is join in. You know, have some fun with it. See what all the rage is about. And I mean, I haven't played in months, so it's not a big deal, but it was just something I did for a while. And it was fun. So I had to take the class with him because he couldn't figure it out without me. All right. And yeah, and then my last point was just to express concerns when I have them. And I already talked about that, just to say to them that the other concern I sometimes have is I do feel like sometimes, and I think Kirsten mentioned this, that being focused on the screen too much, sometimes I say to them, I feel like you've forgotten how to relate to people. Like suddenly everyone seems really grouchy or moody or snappy with one another. And I do see the impact of screens on my kids in that way. That when they've had a lot of time either watching movies or doing Minecraft or whatever they do, I have seen them not treat each other well. And so I've just said that. I said, you know what, guys? Our relationships seem to be falling apart. So we're going to declare a day of no screens. And that's what we do. That was part of that conversation, saying we will enter this, but we're going to respect each other. So I will just declare an entire day with no screens, and we'll go outside and we'll go get ice cream somewhere. And usually it involves a lot of game playing. That's really good to hear. Nadine, I forget how old your son is. But I feel like that self-actualization starts to come as they get older. When we can walk that path with them. Okay, 10, yeah. Once you get over 8, I feel like some of that starts to come, and they start to realize, you know what, I'm being really snippy. I realize it. I've done 3 Periscopes today, but this week I feel like has been kind of a down week. For a while, I just kind of had to back off, because I was finding myself, not relating to my kids as much, but kind of mentally checked out. So I think they do learn that too, and we walk that with them. And then I've really just started to appreciate the beauty of some of the stuff they're doing. Coding. I watched my kids do Khan Academy coding. Declared it the weekend. Yeah. The we can get a little much. And I feel like they go from one to the other. Like they're all Minecraft for a while, and then it's suddenly all we for a while. So I just feel like sometimes we need to be all hiking for a while or all biking for a while and get our minds out of that zone. But I've also seen it do beautiful creative things. My daughter, who's 11, is so into Video Star. And for a while, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, all you're doing is Video Star. But she is making amazing things. Yeah, well, that's how I feel about Periscope, is it's like social for me, and it's nice. But I've just appreciated some of the creativity and the beauty of what they're doing in there. So we did finally let her get a YouTube account where she posts from Video Star to YouTube. And some of the stuff she has made, oh, Kim, I'll get to that. I have a yucky story about that. Some of the stuff she's making is amazing. So I just stepped back and relaxed a little and been like, wow, because when I was younger, I was obsessed with making videos. In fact, we laugh because way before they had any of this technology, I made all of my high school friends videos of photographs to music. And I had to sit there with our video camera, and I would put a picture in front of it and press record and wait 5 seconds and then end recording. And then I'd put another picture. And I would do this for like 150 to 200 pictures. And then I would hook up my stereo to this video camera, rewind the tape, and then I would record music over it. And I did this forever, and no one really thought about it because it wasn't a screen. So I think sometimes we have to, relax, let ourselves fade back into relaxing. But I do think it's just kind of an ongoing process of relax, get a little hyper, then relax again and realize it's all okay. Okay, Kim asked the big question of inappropriate things. And yes, we have not run into that on Instagram. I do a pretty good job of getting in there and cleaning up followers who are yucky. And thankfully, I'm not trying to make generalizations here, but it's my daughter. And I think the temptations are different for boys. And I know that's a major generalization, but I do think it's statistically backed up with who is being trapped into the world of porn and what's going on there. So it has been a little different because we're entering all of this with a daughter. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. So we actually had an encounter in YouTube where she was just searching for innocent videos and some came up that weren't great. And it took a little while for her to tell us, and then we talked about it. You know, there's nothing good about that, but the good thing that did come out of it is now when I say things about like, well, there's nasty stuff out there, she knows I mean it. She knows what I mean. And I've heard her say to her sister, you know, there's really nasty stuff out there and you need to be careful. So it kind of crossed her into this place of recognizing the depths to which things are yucky out there, and taking it seriously. We have a filter on our wireless internet, OpenDNS. It's free and it blocks websites with content. Now she does, but at the time, no, we didn't have it on kids. Kids search, kids eat. Yeah, there's so many good things, and we really hadn't done a great job of researching. But I know K9, I think, is a free software for blocking things, and we use OpenDNS. In fact, I've gone to get on sites, and I'm like, I'm blocked. Not that they're inappropriate, but I was just going to order some stuff. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. But it does block a lot of websites. And I have been looking into, I don't know if anyone has that Circle. Is it Disney? Disney has the Circle. They've put out that allows all sorts of parental controls. So it might be overkill, but I have looked at that. So I don't know if anybody else has used Circle, but I've considered it because you can block specific things and you can keep track of what's going on. And I understand on the iProducts, there's a browser. Oh, I can't come up with the name of it right now, but there's a browser that will report everything being searched to the parent. So there are all kinds of checks you can do out there, but it is scary. The thing that I keep in mind is by the time, in my house, I say 16. I mean, as soon as you can get in a car and drive away from my house, you can really indulge in whatever it is you are looking to do, unfortunately. So I would rather start that a little earlier, whether it be 13 or 14, and start walking that path with them and help them sifting through some of those decisions and choices and what's out there before they are able to go do it anyway. So that's kind of how I've seen it. We did not get a phone. In this house, it's more of a financial thing. Kim, it happens all the time. But I've basically told them no one will own a smartphone until they're paying the bill for it. So she does have an iPod that she purchased with her own money. On her 12th birthday, she got freedom of money. And we do freedoms at every birthday starting at 10, which I've scoped on before. But she got freedom of money, and with the freedom of money, she got $100. And at this point, she's allowed to spend her money however she wishes. She doesn't have to have our permission as long as she's not buying something that she's not allowed to own. And so she bought an iPod. And honestly, Carolyn, that's what we've discussed doing. I hope it's Carolyn, and I'm saying that right. We've discussed getting a dumb phone just for texting and stuff like that. But honestly, we found on her iPod, pretty much anywhere we drop her off, she has Wi-Fi. So even in her gymnastics gym, she's texted us if she's needed us. Our church has Wi-Fi, so she's been able to text us from there. Let's see, Starbucks has Wi-Fi, and she texts us from there. The library has Wi-Fi. In fact, downtown Raleigh has Wi-Fi. So we haven't had the need for a phone any house she goes to. But, and Alicia, I see that, I think you got your oldest, the phone. It was $10 a month. It's more the cost of the phone. So Alicia's saying like she gave her kid an old one. I do have an old iPhone, but I think it might be a 3. We traded in our old ones though to get a $200 credit for the new ones. So Out of luck, kid. Unless you want to buy it for $200. But really, no one here has had the need for it yet. Even when she's babysitting, the 2 houses where she babysits, they have Wi-Fi. So she has, yeah, then that works. So like I said, it's more of a financial decision than it is to me like, I don't want you to have that decision, because she really, with her Wi-Fi, kind of has the internet anywhere she goes anyway. But that seems to have worked at this point in terms of what she desires. She hasn't been really fighting us for a phone. Yet, okay, Nadine, that's what a few people on here are saying. So it's funny because I just have this like fear in my mind of giving them a smartphone. And I need to get over it just like everything else. You know, she has a laptop. She has her iPod. So the phone is similar. She actually has one of those apps that lets you have a phone number on her iPod. So, but honestly with that, she's gotten some weird phone calls. She ignores them, but I don't know if those are sold to people or what. I would consider her average. I mean, she's really responsible in terms of babysitting, taking care of kids. She now teaches at church. In fact, she's going to a leaders meeting tomorrow, and she's the only kid there. Everybody else is adults who are doing the position she's doing. So when it comes to taking care of kids and all, she, I guess, is kind of above average, but that's because she really loves that. But in terms of general maturity, I would say she's pretty average. You know, messy bedroom that's never cleaned, you know, typical stuff teens around the house. So, you know, I would say she's pretty average. Let's see. I guess that's everything I had to say. This was interesting. You've got me thinking about the phone. I do think eventually we'll do the dumb phone thing and just let the kids share if they need a phone. I know a lot of people, high schoolers, they get phones. And I think it's pretty typical in high school. Now, homeschooled high school looks a little different. No contract that way. Ooh, that's good to know too. Yeah, and you know what? Different situations. My brother is in that same situation, Nadine, where the kids go back and forth from 2 houses. And so he got his kids' phones when they were pretty young, maybe 8 and 10, because he wanted them to be able to text him from the other parent's house if they wanted to. And I totally understand that. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it is nice when they're home. They're always the only one who isn't allowed, or the only one who doesn't have it or can't do it, or they're always the only one. So yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it is a convenient thing as they're getting older. And honestly, it is the world they're in. Like I said, there's probably not a whole lot of difference between my daughter being allowed to take her iPod everywhere or a phone, because she has wireless. So when I leave the house and go out, I mean, she can text me at any time because she has access to our wireless internet. So there you go. That's right. Unite. That's right. They're not the only one. I do think in a public high school, at this point, it would be very rare not to have a smartphone. From what I'm hearing from my friends who have kids in high school, that everyone does have a phone. Teachers almost expect it. They'll give them assignments. I understand laptops. Kids take laptops into the classrooms now and stuff. I mean, I am so far removed, even though I was a public school teacher, I am so far removed from what that world looks like now. But in terms of all of this stuff, I just think you just need to keep some balance. We do now have a laptop for each of the kids in the house, so it does give a little more access. That just kind of happened. That's a whole other long story. But yeah, I was filming behind me is actually, we're in the laptop room. You can see them sitting up there. So yeah. Okay, Amy. Yeah, I don't think everyone does. I don't know if your kids are in public school or if they're home with you. I do think in the public school, a lot of the kids, the majority, I think the vast majority have them. But yeah, my 13-year-old doesn't, and it's not on the plan right now to get her one. I don't think it's necessary. Okay. Yeah. Homeschooled. I think it's a different scenario. I don't know. That's just me. I haven't sent a kid to school, so I'm not speaking from experience. My experience is that I never say never, and I never say I won't, because I have changed a lot of things. I am constantly reevaluating. And that was part of that discussion to have with my kids, that the rules can change. It's actually why there's 4 laptops in the house. I mean, a real quick story is we had decided as parents for 4 kids, we bought 2 used laptops for them to share. And then I was supposed to do 8th grade graduation. We had decided when each of the kids graduated 8th grade, they would get a laptop from us. Now, we never shared that with them. It was going to be a surprise. And about a month or 2 ago, I said to my husband, no, this is not working. I mean, it is sad to say, but it is their world. And 2 laptops between 4 kids is not working. Kaylee needs her own laptop. That's my oldest daughter. I was like, she's got papers to do. I'd like her to get back onto more online courses. She was enjoying Khan Academy, but now she's having to share with her brothers. It's just not working. We were crazy to think we could wait till 8th grade. That's just what we thought. And I know people make it work. I'm not saying every kid has to own a laptop. I'm just saying I stopped being so scared of them having their own. And so we decided it would be a 5th grade graduation gift. But the problem was she was already in 7th grade. So we just bought her one. And we said, happy 5th grade graduation. And then, of course, it was like, oh, everybody else is going to get one when they graduate 5th grade. And I'm like, that's right, but you're getting one now. So that's the advantage, is you have it first still. And yes, your sister will have one in 6 months when she is only 11. But that was part of that conversation, that things were going to change, and we're learning, and this is what we learned. So we have learned we need them a little earlier. And then by default, the boys now have their own, because when Kaylee got hers, they had set it up where a boy and a girl was sharing each one. So now my 6-year-old has his own because he had been sharing with Kaylee. We are kind of picky. I have a brother who is really into computer programming, way brilliant kind of thing. And I contacted him, and we got an HP. Oh, it's not in here. Hers isn't in here. I think it's called an Elite Book. Our biggest thing, I know the thin little laptops are like all the great thing, and the touch screens and all of that stuff, but we really wanted it to have a solid state hard drive, SSD, because that is faster. And we wanted speed for her and storage. And a lot of the computers that are inexpensive and thin and all that kids are getting for high school and college, they are flash memory, which works, and it's all fine. Oh, Alicia, I don't know how. But like I said, people make it work. So I don't let them touch mine because it's a Mac, and I don't want anyone messing with the computer. Okay, so we got an HP Elite Book. I think it was 8560. But what we did is we installed our own solid state hard drive on it. We removed the CD-ROM where you could put in a CD. We actually removed that from her laptop, and my husband bought a solid state hard drive, and we installed that. So it's a lot faster. It's a hardy machine. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't know what to say. We were fortunate. I mean, I think we got it on eBay for like $270. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to invest, but I think it will take her easily to college. I don't know by the time she goes to college where things are going to be, but at that point it can be on her bill or like a college gift. I don't know. High school graduation, you get the latest. But it's a hardy computer, and that's why we got it for her, because it will last for a nice long time. And yeah, I do love my Mac. It was our, year 15 of your wedding anniversary. We've always done the traditional gifts. So like our first year we did paper, and I think year 7 is like pottery. Somewhere in there was fruit and flowers. And we've always done whatever the traditional gift was. That's awesome, Nadine. And year 15 was silver. And I've always wanted an iPad, so I kept joking to my husband that iPads come in silver because we take a little leniency with the gift. So I kept saying, iPads come in silver. And he kept saying, I did not get you an iPad. And but I do all the budgeting. So he did pull me aside, and he was like, I got you something really kind of pricey. And I was like, well, as long as it's an iPad, then it's cool. And he was like, it's not an iPad. And I was like, well, I better like it better than an iPad then, because it was kind of a joke the whole day. And then when I opened my anniversary gift, it was a nice silver Mac, and I love it. So that was my 15th wedding anniversary gift. So much better than those stories you hear about blenders and vacuum cleaners. The Mac, definite win for my husband. In fact, anytime we're arguing or fighting, he's kind of like, you know what? I bought you a Mac. I'm like, all right, you win. You win for the next year. It's all good now. Yeah, the iPad's great too. And I love because they all communicate. So on my Mac, I can text people. In fact, if I'm ever texting you and it's really fast and I'm like typing a whole paragraph, it's because I'm on my laptop and I can text anyone who has an iProduct using iMessage and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no vacuums, no vacuums. Ultraviolet. Oh, can you tell me how to say your name? Is it Tathy? Tathy? Maybe if you could put the pronunciation in there, I would love to get that. Tathy. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. It's so hard about Periscope. That might be. I didn't know what it showed, Alicia. Maybe that's why it shows as my email address. Yeah. That's why you got a text from me. It was probably really long and I was going fast too, because I can do that on the desktop. So, yeah, you can get Macs used. I actually debated that for my daughter, but my brother, here were his words of caution when I talked to him. Tatiana. You say Tatiana. Okay, Tatiana, or Tati for short. Tatiana. Okay, thank you, Ultraviolet. Tatiana. So pretty. When I said to him, I'm really thinking of getting her a used Mac, he was like, be really careful. You're making a major life choice for her, and it's an expensive one. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, because once you become a Mac person, I mean, people are kind of Mac or PC people, and when you go Mac, you tend to stay Mac. And so if I were to purchase her first Mac, it would probably be very hard for her to navigate back to the PC world when everything she was doing was in Mac. So I'd be starting her off in a really expensive direction in life. That's right. Once you Mac, you never go back. It's so funny for me because now I'll get on the kids' computers and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so different. I can't even use your mouse pad. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to point and you do it now. Because it's different. I mean, I love it, but there's a lot of just changes. So I hope so, Kirsten. Do they have them? Do they have them like in the computer labs? Yeah, it's actually been good that I waited so long because if something happens to my Mac, I'm going to want to replace it with a Mac. Oh, good. And Kirsten's saying they have Macs in the computer labs at college. So she'll be able to get her game on there and see if that's the direction she wants to head. But it's an expensive direction. So I was glad he gave me those words of wisdom and I went ahead and bought her the PC. I thought that was a good choice. So, well, I have kind of rambled on your Friday night. And for the first time I'm using, what do my kids do on the computer? Minecraft is a big one. And the nice thing about having them all on the laptops, they use my husband's work one. That's why we have 4, is we actually have 3 for the kids, but he has a spare one from work that he lets them use. I love the 4 of them playing in there together. There's something about that makes me feel better about the whole thing. When I open the door and they're giggling and they're laughing and they're yelling like, ha ha ha, I threw that at you. And let's go. Oh yeah, they connect. They all go into the same server. Yeah. In fact, if your kids, mine love Mineplex and they love, there's 2, Mineplex and some other server that they love to go play on. In fact, the one day they played here for like 3 or 4 hours. Not only were the 4 of them on a laptop sitting here in the center all laughing and playing, but they had up the iPad and the iPod and they used Uvu. And they were talking to their cousins. So their cousins were in the same server who live in Maryland, and they were talking on the iPads with them while they were all playing together. So it was hysterical. But really, the other reasons we got it is Khan Academy. They were doing Khan Academy on there, and they were doing a lot of coding. She was typing up papers, and she needed to be able to get on to type up her papers. Photos, to be able to store her photos and kind of have her place that she was putting them on. Trying to think, she goes in and out of things that she was into. She's trying to set up her own YouTube channel. So she's just got more media stuff that she's doing. So she wanted to be able to kind of have our own machine, and it just seemed to make sense. But we could work it out. I mean, we really could. We were just in the fortunate place that we were able to grab another laptop at a decent price and make it work for everyone. And I saw someone say Chromebook, but you can't play Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft's a big deal in this house. So I wasn't going to invest in a laptop without it being able to do Minecraft. Yeah, she just kind of started this year. Khan Academy was a big one. I mean, there was probably a month or 6-week period in here where all of them were spending about an hour and a half to 2 hours learning coding every day. The coding lessons on there are fantastic. I think it's HTML that they're learning, and she was learning how to draw things and color them and fill them in, and she had moved on to the animating part, and so I wanted them all to be able to do that, but it was hard when everyone was kind of lining up for their turn on it. So, well, and next year she has to do a language. So it was kind of like thinking through next year. Like, we were making it this year, but next year I just foresaw down the future. I'd like her to maybe pick an online class to try and kind of see if that's a direction she'd like to head in high school. So try one in 8th grade. And then, of course, typing her papers. And then the language, the Rosetta Stone. Yeah, typing practice. Mine don't do typing practice right now. They can text like mad dogs, but typing is hard. Took a typing class and devices became a problem. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, the Chromebook. I mean, I think it's great if, like, as a parent, if you're not getting into the games and you just want to do word processing and internet and stuff like that. I know friends who use it, but I think it's going to be hard for my kids. Yeah, there you go. Give him your old one and get a Mac. That's a great idea. Yeah, Amy, rockin' awesome plan. Yeah, we took a Brave Writer class. We took Kids Write Basic. Actually, I think Kirsten, who's on here, was my daughter's teacher. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like 90% sure. It was a year and a half ago, and I think Kirsten was her teacher, and I was really impressed. It probably wasn't the best choice of class for us because we have been doing Brave Writer for about a year and a half. Well, yeah, I can't possibly expect you to remember every kid that takes the class. That's hard. But both of my girls took it, and it was really helpful though. Kirsten was fantastic. The feedback they got on their papers, and they did the topic funnel, and I had never done that. So that was a really helpful class. We're hoping to sign up for Shakespeare this spring and then take some classes in the fall too. It's okay. You know, I always get nervous on Periscope because I forget all sorts of things. And then in life in general, but you all don't have to witness it in life in general, just here on Periscope. So yeah, the Shakespeare class I'm really looking forward to. You can take it as a family, so I'm hoping that'll go well. And then I'd like her to look at the Brave Writer courses and some other courses. I really like the fact that Brave Writer are short. I think Julie's really wise there because I feel like in 6 weeks we do kind of lose momentum. So it seems to be about the right time when you're like, all right, I'm done that. I'm ready for a break. Whereas I feel like if you take an entire year of an online class, you'd kind of be like banging your head at certain points, ready to be done. So I have liked that about the Brave Writer. They're like the right amount of timing. So that's my thought. So that's why so many laptops. Oh, Jenny, you're in here too. Okay, have you guys ever used, I'm doing it for the first time. That's why I keep looking to the left. Have you guys used Scoper Chat? I have finally logged into Scoper Chat just to play with it and see what it was. I should do a whole Periscope on it. But it's really nice for the comments when you're missing them because it runs the comments down the right side of my laptop. So I can see everything everyone was saying. So when I missed a comment about the Chromebook, I glanced down and I kind of scrolled back through the comments and I could see them. Oh, yeah, Scoper Chat. This has been, I'll let you guys see the screen. You can see how many hearts you've given them too. It kind of tells me who's in here and how many hearts they've done or given. But the part I really like, because I really don't care about the hearts and all that, it lets me see the names which are associated with the accounts, which is how I knew Tatiana, her name, even though it didn't say that there. And then here is the part I've really liked. Oh, I love your picture, Carolyn. I think it's so, like, it's it's almost Helen Huntish. I don't know what it is. I think it's a fantastic picture. But the part that I really liked is these. I have all the comments here. So when I have missed a comment, I can go back and look at it. So I've really enjoyed using it, this scope. This was the first one I've tried. So that's that. That's what Scoper Chat is. I've played around with full scope and I've played around with Scoper Chat. I'm going to need to do a whole Periscope on that, but it's a website, scoperchat.com, and the password is gorilla. And when you're periscoping, bring it up on your laptop and then drag the URL into Scoper Chat, and it will bring all that feed up as you're periscoping. And then I close the Periscope. So you are, I don't know, Shelly. Shelly's rocking it on the heart. She always does. She's kicking it over 7,000. So, Alicia, you might feel nice, but Shelly is the nicest. Anyway, so yeah, check out the Scoper Chat, you know, one of these times that you're scoping. That's right, Tatiana. I know some of the business scopes, like, they talk about it because they'll do contests and whoever gives the most hearts wins. And so they can use it to get all those stats. But for me, I really like it. This is the first time I've used it, but it's been helpful with the comments. Because if one of you said something and I was talking, I knew that I could look at my laptop and see the comment that I missed. So for me, I think that will be the most helpful thing in a situation like this where comments are kind of going, yeah, check it out. Maybe that's what I'll scope. You know, maybe I'll do a fourth scope tonight. No, I'm just kidding. My kids are like all waiting for the internet because I never let them on when I'm periscoping because it makes the connection bad. So I probably should get off. But maybe I'll scope tomorrow about, there's one called Full Scope and there's one called Scoper Chat. And Scoper Chat, yeah, yes, number 4. Yeah, I really think I need to call it a Periscope break today. Thank you, Becca. All right, so thanks for tuning in. And again, oh, and I didn't write Tea with Nadine down here. Let me write that. Tea with, I'm going to put those up there again in case anybody else would like other opinions on how people are handling it. Thanks, Kirsten. Yeah, oh my gosh, Tea with Nadine, do that. That would be great. In fact, I need to go watch your scope. So here are the other people who have talked about gaming. Alicia, if you did, I missed it. But, these are the people that I know of who talked about gaming if you want to go see what they had to say. So, all right. Thanks, ladies, and have a fantastic Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. This is good timing because it wasn't the prompt, Alicia, but Kim, Purple Jack Mama, wrote it in the Brave Scopes page and just said, what do people do? And a lot of people just started responding, goodbye, goodbye, Sharon. Started responding with Periscope answers. So it just kind of happened that a bunch of people did it. The prompt was actually what you do to recover from a bad day. So I may do that next week because I can't do 4 scopes tonight, much less 5 if I attack the full scope. All right, I'm going to go now. So thank you all. Have a great weekend. This was a lot of fun. It's been a while since I did a scope that kind of went on with conversation. So it was fun. Impromptu prompt. It was a great impromptu prompt. All right. Bye, everybody.